o'clock. I have roll call, please.
Mr. Armstrong.
Here.
Mr. Bonacci.
Here.
Mrs. Powers.
Here.
Mr. Spangler.
Here.
Mrs. Wright. Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I wish to recommend that the Board of Education approve the minutes for the following board meeting. December 12th, 2011 community meeting and December 20th, 2011 special meeting. It's moved by Mr. Spangler and seconded by Mrs. Wright. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I believe I did write about this. Under board retreat, I'm just wondering on the December 20th, 2011 meeting, if we should at least have something of what happened there, like, I know we had attorneys, Flanagan's and Gifford. And that was the main part of the meeting, where they were talking about a program that they wanted to bring in. With the board, I think we should have something like that, rather than just kind of just, hey,
Don't know. If you'd like to amend the minutes, you probably should make a motion. I'm not sure how you want to word it.
yeah.
How would you like to word it?
I guess the motion would be to amend the minutes to show that the attorneys, is it Flanagan and Gifford? Spoke at the meeting concerning a program that they would like to have the board bring to the board. Well, I did issue the email that I want to say, but we should have had.
Typically, the board minutes have not included that. It's just discussion of the board. The board speaks to the public through its actions, which are the actionable items are have a vote attached to them. And if you recall, it was an agenda that is part of the work papers of the district, but they aren't actually inclusive in the minutes.
Excuse me, can you speak up? We can't hear. Or pull your microphones way up closer. That would be appreciated. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how you want to rephrase it.
Let's just rephrase it that we had the attorneys, Flanagan and Gifford, at the meeting presenting the program.
I have a suggestion, since you're talking about amending the meeting minutes, perhaps take it off the agenda and we'll amend the meeting minutes and then you can vote on
That would probably be best, to table it and then bring it back, yes.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Can I get a motion to table it?
A motion to table?
Second.
Okay, it was moved by Mr. Armstrong and seconded by Mr. Bonacci to table the minutes of the December 20th, 2011 special meeting. Roll call.
Mr. Bonacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Spangler.
Aye.
Mrs. Wright. Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Now, should I do an additional one to approve December 12th?
You already had a motion and a second on the floor.
Okay.
It's good. We should have voted before we did another motion. But, yeah, we can say that the motion stands for Mr. Spangler motion and Mrs. Wright second to approve the December 12th minutes.
Any roll call?
Yes, Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Spangler.
Aye.
Mrs. Wright. Aye. Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mr. Bonacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Bolton, the treasurer's report?
Okay, this evening we'll start with the financial report for December. We'd like to recommend the Board of Education approve the financial report for December as exhibit
Second.
It was moved by Mrs. Wright, seconded by Mr. Armstrong. Roll call.
Mr. Spangler.
Aye.
Mrs. Wright. Aye. Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mr. Benacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Bowers.
Aye.
Okay, item B, check register for
Very
December.
difficult here.
I wish to recommend the Board of Education approve the check register for December 2011 as presented in Exhibit Number 2.
So moved.
Second.
It was moved by Mrs. Powers and seconded by Mr. Spangler. Roll call.
Mrs. Wright. Aye. Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mr. Benacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Spangler.
Aye.
Item C, the permanent appropriation resolution. I wish to recommend the Board of Education approve the permanent appropriation resolution as presented in Exhibit Number 3.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Wright and seconded by Mr. Armstrong. Roll call.
Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mr. Benacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Spangler.
Aye.
Mrs. Wright. And the last item.
Thank you. Before we proceed with comments from the audience, I'd like to review the public participation policy of our Board of Education. It was policy number 0169.1. The Board of Education recognizes the value of school governance and public comment and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on school matters of community interest. The Board is also committed to conducting its meetings in a productive and efficient manner that assures the regular agenda is completed in a reasonable time period. In order to permit fair and orderly expression of such comment, the Board shall provide a period for public participation at every regular meeting and publish those rules to govern such participation in Board meetings. The presiding officer of each meeting at which public participation is permitted shall administer the rules of the Board for its conduct. Presiding officer shall be guided by the following rules. Public participation shall be permitted as indicated in the order of business. The following is guidelines for speakers. Citizens have an opportunity to bring their concerns before the Board, and all comments should be directed to the Board. Individuals presenting concerns or questions to the Board may not receive complete answers at the very same evening. Persons who address the Board should refrain from talking about specific teachers or administrators by name, since these staff members are usually not present to support themselves. When you do address the Board, please state your name and address and identify the organization you're involved with if you do represent any. Any person while being heard at a Board of Education meeting may be called to order by the President or any other Board member for failure to be relevant to the business of the Board or District, for vulgarity or personal attacks of persons or institutions. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to a 3-minute duration. No participant may speak more than once on the same topic. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer, and no person may direct or question Board members individually. Additionally, the presiding officer may prohibit public comments that are frivolous, repetitive, and/or harassing. Interrupt, warn, or terminate a participant's statement when the statement is too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, off-topic, antagonistic, obscene, or irrelevant. Request any individual to leave the meeting when that person does not observe reasonable decorum. Request the assistance of law enforcement officers in the removal of a disorderly person when that person's conduct interferes with the orderly progress of the meeting. Call for a recess or an adjournment to another time where the lack of public decorum so interferes with the orderly conduct of meetings to warrant such action. And waive these rules with the approval of the Board when necessary for the protection of privacy or the administration of the Board's business. Thank you. First, we have Mr. Barnes. It is low.
Good evening, I'm Mike Barnes of the 517 Park Ridge Drive, Munroe Falls, Ohio. And I'm here tonight to address a couple of points from the last meeting. Access to public records is essential in an open democracy. Public records requests can be made by anyone at any time without explanation. The freedom to request and receive public records also comes with the acceptance of responsibility for the cost associated with those requests. I was appalled and frankly outraged to witness the revelation of a board candidate or a relative of a board candidate with stiff taxpayers and costs associated with producing requested records. In addition, I'm under the impression the situation is not an uncommon occurrence, and with the best interest of taxpayers in mind, I'm making the following public records request. I apologize for doing it here, but it seems appropriate after the ridiculousness of the last meeting. If it exists, I'd like full disclosure of all public records requests. This request includes, but is not limited to, the date, name, address, and all contact information for the requester, the nature and scope of the request, and I'll also give you a copy of this later, just so you have the request. The nature and scope of the request, the date and complete list of records provided, how much the requester was charged to provide the requested records, and a cost estimate for preparing those records. I realize this may not be a record that exists, and with that in mind, I'd also like, there's one part. Also like to know which requests were made and never picked up. All requests made all requests made that were not paid for. And finally, any and all records paid by check or other instrument where the check or other instrument was returned by the bank. I'd be happy to discuss the details with the treasurer. I hope that this information is already available. Again, if it's not, I realize that you do not have to or obligated to create a record. I fully appreciate that. With that in mind, I would urge you to give consideration to preparing a log of that type, as apparently from the video, this is something that results in very, very high cost. So if the public records law does not exist, I would ask you to create one. In addition, I think more seriously, regarding the January 9th video, I was absolutely thunderstruck by the angry tone and demeanor of one of the board candidates. In my opinion, it was not appropriate behavior for an elected official that should not be tolerated. It would appear that as a result of the outburst, it was necessary to have a second board meeting the same week at cost to the taxpayer. More to the point, I'm concerned that this is the beginning of a new attempt by a board member to micromanage and shamelessly milk taxpayers for additional meeting fees. I'm putting the board on notice. I've done this before, and I'm very, very serious. You are elected to work as a team to provide the best possible education for our students. You're required to hire a superintendent and fiscal officer. You're not elected, and you know this, to micromanage the work of the people hired by the board to make day-to-day decisions. To return to the operating practices of the board 2 years ago is not a good option for you, and it's not debatable. I will make you the same promise I made the former
Thank you,
board
Mr.
president.
Barnes. Your 3 minutes is up.
You have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Take it back.
Thank you for your time tonight. My name is David Beck. I'm here on behalf of Beck Energy. My family's been drilling and producing oil and natural gas in northeastern Ohio for more than 30 years. Several years ago, our company drilled a successful well on North River Road, Twin Falls United Methodist Church. We've recently began discussing with a family on North River Road the possibility of drilling another natural gas well on their property. That property is adjacent to the Kimpton. So I'm here tonight just simply to ask for your consideration for that and to ask what channels and what things I would have to do tonight to see if that topic could be discussed in further detail.
And you should probably direct any questions that you may have to Dr. Jones or Mrs. Baldwin, preferably in writing,
Okay?
a letter or a proposal of some type.
Okay. Very good. Very good. And the family's here with me tonight too, so I think they might want to make a comment as well. I think they filled out the card as well. But I just wanted to introduce myself and thank you for your consideration. I will do that with something in writing with the details. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Jill Armbruster. sorry, your address, please?
My address, 421 and 414 North River Road, in Red Falls. My family has owned property next to Clinton for almost 50 years, and we would support David back in drilling a well on this property and ask that Stow City Schools join us in the property acreage necessary to do this. My mother was a school teacher for 37 years, and I understand schools having problems getting enough funding, and this would be some kind of funding. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Molly Emery.
Hello, I'm Molly Emery, 3201 Courtwood Way, Stow. I am president of Stow Excellence in Education Foundation, otherwise known as SEED. I wanted to thank our board members, Karen Powers, Karen Wright, Fred Bonacci, and Dick Spangler for supporting our dance Snow White Saturday evening. We gave away 7 staff grants at the dance Saturday evening, and we will give away again this year, for our second year, a scholarship to a graduating senior. Thank you again for your support, and our students and our staff.
Thank you. Tammy Carlisle.
My name is Jan Carlisle. I live at 1543 Roosevelt. I'd like to say good evening and thank you all for listening to me. Since June, I have questioned any IB purchase in the public school system. After 7.5 months spent in studying, the overwhelming cost has forced me to go on record tonight. This is my first time ever in front of the board. Not because I can change your minds, I know I can't, but because someone must say what so many of us are thinking. We cannot afford international baccalaureate. Initially, the district posted a press release assuring taxpayers that IB would only be funded by grants and banned any staff development outside grant funding. That ban served as an example of the cuts justifying letter passage. I read the ARA, the Title I guidelines, and I called the ODE. IB cannot be sustained on grants alone. Immediately, the press release came down. Yet IB continues, even after an apparent refund of grant money from the local general fund. Districts dropping IB are invariably citing costs for seeing it in the newspapers. Most recently, a superintendent named Constantino of Williamsburg, Virginia, told his board that he would like to remove it because it's costing $180,000 annually for one elementary building. Moreover, though IBO seems flexible in the honeymoon stage, you should anticipate that eventually they may make mandatory all-day kindergarten, and that the IB implementation will touch the preschool campus as well. In November, we passed a levy to save our schools. In spite of the CFO's report of $7.6 million in cuts since 2006, our financials were in a critical condition. I respect Ms. Baldwin. I believe her when she tells us that we need that money. But our high schoolers are still nearly cluster busing, our teachers are on salary freeze, and our students pay to participate. The treasurer is asking us to be frugal. The levy renewal will be imperative, yet IB marches on. Why? Because it's rigorous? No. PYP and NYP aren't even scientifically proven. You can call the ODE or the U.S. Department of Education and ask them to prove academic enrichment. They will tell you it's not even a certified curriculum, but a values framework, a philosophy. Who asked you to bring IB? The ODE reported Indian Trail enrollment in 2009 to be 366 students. That's about the time IB arrived. Currently, Indian Trail educates 336 students. It is a luxury, in my opinion, precipitated in this district by the windfall that was ARA. The windfall has fallen through, but not before a tornado of half-truth, controversy, and sleight of hand on the part of the IBO have risen our community. The money is gone. Why insult our fiscal conscience by maintaining the aftermath for even one more minute? I am respectfully requesting that the motion be tabled until you conduct a full feasibility study regarding district-wide implementation, because as Ms. Powers intimated when she was running for the board, it should be all or nothing. Not that I'm hoping for all, but that would be the fair thing to do. And validating the IB fit for any Stow Munroe Falls schools should validate it as potentially fit for all of us. Thank you.
I'm sorry, how do you pronounce your last name?
Go back.
Come on.
At least you asked. Most people murder it.
Say it again?
I said at least you asked.
No, I'm sorry, your last name, say it again.
Go back.
Oh, okay.
Hungarian. My name is Max Sebastian. I live at 4052 Osage Street. I'm a horrible public speaker, so please bear with me. I have twins in the 3rd grade who attend Indian Elementary School. Indian Trail Elementary School. First off, I would like to state that my comments in no way reflect upon any of the teachers involved with my children's education since their first day of kindergarten. Most have been exemplary in their skills of teaching, communication, and caring, and are shining stars of the Stow Munroe School District, no matter what their opinion about it is. I do, however, take exception to the International Baccalaureate program. This is a program plagued with issues that do not belong in any public school district, and I'd like to address a couple of those today. From research I've done, most coming from the IB website, the performance of the children are capable of seems to severely be underestimated. There seems to be a lack of confidence of what they've been capable of doing for thousands of years. It appears that IB wants to put less and less of emphasis on memorization and more emphasis on what children think. This is highly suspicious. There are reasons that memorizing dates, people, and events is so important. It is to create and maintain a mental historical record of things. To do any less would almost appear like one might be trying to erase history, or change it ever so slowly, which IB wishes to carry. I've seen experiments done from several studies that claim that child's minds are less capable than we thought they were when it comes to some skills. Some of these experiments that come from these studies, I'll admit, left me questioning what I thought. These kids clearly did not understand simple things that these experiments were pointing out. But then I realized one thing was missing: the guiding hand of an adult or teacher to show the child how and why the experiment had, what the intended purposes of that experiment was. Much of what IB teaches comes from studies like these that have a vital component of teaching missing and just focuses on the shortcomings of the child not getting it right off the bat. Another issue I have with IB in the public school arena is that it appears to have a political slant that it follows. Make no mistake, I am a very politically motivated person. However, to preach politics to a child is debilitating to the child's mental growth. From what I understand of IB, I am diametrically opposed to its political philosophies. That being said, if I ever found out that something like trickle-down economics was taught, you'd see me right here or in your office screaming about it. I do not talk to my children about political subject matter in my home, and neither should a public school system, especially in grade school. Politics by nature is debating opinion. It's not fact. A child in a public school atmosphere should only be taught fundamentals and basics of what is proven fact. Critical thinking can and have been taught through teaching these fundamentals alone.
I'm sorry. Thank you so much for your comments, but your time is up.
Is that it? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Karen Gondadakis?
Good evening. My name is Karen Gunadakis. I'm at 2520 Samira Road. And my question also is regarding IB. My question is, do you mean to tell me that before IB, Indian Trail teachers weren't encouraging children to ask questions, differentiating transdisciplinary connections through subjects? Other than Post-it notes and IB learner profile, what specific skills are being employed to make sure children develop deeper understanding? And do you have any scholarly reports which demonstrate this claim actually translates into improved student academic achievement, which I believe Ms. Carlson, Tammy had spoken on a little bit. And I can honestly say to those questions, because I was in Indian Trail with my 3 children for 9 years, and those teachers did an incredible job prior to any introduction of IB. They did an incredible job in helping my children learn, grow, develop. There were quite a few teachers that had such a talent for looking at the strengths and the weaknesses of children and help. My 14-year-old had a horrible time with learning, and his teacher taught him how to overcome his weaknesses with his strengths. He still struggles a little bit, but he adores that teacher. And that had nothing to do with this costly program, nothing. I think we need to go back to the basics of learning and get the teachers to help them to help the children more in learning what they need to learn. And I would request that tonight, as you are voting on whether to continue IB, that you take out of that statement that you're going to be voting on at this time and allow a period. If you're going to allow IB to stay in Indian Trail for another year or try it out, it's, get rid of at this time, because that phrase has been used too much, and that's just telling us that, you're trying to just get it by for now. And we say, no, we're not getting it by for now. Take out at this time at my request. Thank you.
Heather Galliano.
I'm sorry. My name is Heather Galliano. I live at 3677 Viber Road in Stow. And first, what I wanted to do is I wanted to thank the board for the discussions that they've had in the last couple of meetings. I'm very busy, and I should be here more often for Board of Education meetings, but there's 2 other meetings tonight that I'm missing. But at the last meeting, Mr. Armstrong and Mr. Bonacci were asking questions at the discussion phase, and I learned a lot, because when you were talking about something, if we don't know the background to it, we have a reaction to it. And a lot of times, us parents react because you're talking about our children rather than responding. So I wanted to thank you for taking the time for the discussion, because there was something that I was going to get really upset about, and then it was questioned, and I'm like, oh, well, why didn't they just say that? Rather than just trying to rubber stamp things, I think it might make it better for the community. And then as far as IB goes, I don't like it. I mean, there are so many issues. If you go on the website, IB is governed by Switzerland government. You follow IB's rules and regulations. It says right on their website. And those rules and regulations are under the direct order of Switzerland government. If I wanted my children raised in Switzerland, I moved. I live in America. My children, my family were blessed to live in America. My father fought so that America could hold its values. The school district could not afford this program. Mrs. Bullgren stated at every meeting before the levy passed that I was at, 2 or 3 times a week, I saw the faces of the levy committee at every meeting taking up 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to asking us, encouraging us, begging us to pass the levy, and the levy wasn't going to fix everything. It was just going to help us limp along. So we passed the levy. I implored my friends and neighbors who aren't involved in a school district to pass this levy. And now we're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a program for 2 schools. And really, what's it going to benefit them? We have Stow Munroe Falls named a 2011-2012 advanced placement honor roll school by the College Board. In the entire United States of America, one of 367 schools. The gentleman was talking about not talking politics. God, I wish I lived in your house. My 17-year-old, who is a senior, is in speech and debate. He is going into the Air Force ROTC, getting a degree in political science, and he's going to go into politics. But those conversations have no bearing with my 8-year-old, and my 5-year-old, and my 3-year-old, and my 1-year-old. You are going to double. There's a whole list of things monies that you guys were gonna take away from us if we didn't pass the levy. We passed the levy, and now this money, give us something back. But don't pay it to one program. Thank you.
Thank you. Superintendent's recommendations?
Yes. I have first a number of employment recommendations. Those are items A through K on your agenda. And we have some retirements, transfers, employment. Those are primarily from the regular passage of the levy, instituting high school busing with cluster stop. Those are some of the new hires. I think you've probably seen most of those things before, and I'd like to take those all as one recommendation, items A through K, unless there's any objections to that. We also have an introduction.
Not there to be.
I wish to recommend that the Board of Education approve items, employment items A through K as listed in your agenda.
So moved. Moved by Mrs. Powers and seconded by Mr. Spangler. Roll call.
Mr. Bonacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Spangler. Mrs. Wright. Mr. Armstrong.
Would like to introduce, we just approved the contract of our new head varsity baseball coach. That is Brian Selleck. Brian is a cum laude graduate at the University of Akron. He holds a BS in civil engineering and is a registered professional engineer in the state of Ohio. Brian resides in Broadview Heights with his wife Jeannie and infant son Owen. He's employed by H&R Gray as a certified construction manager. Brian has spent the past 5 years at Akron Firestone High School as a baseball coach at various levels. He has served as assistant varsity coach, JV coach, and freshman coach, and also coached during the summertime in their summer program. He has also served as a pitching coach. Brian has conducted youth program clinics in Akron. In addition, he is a 4-year member of the University of Akron baseball team, serving as team captain for the University of Akron's varsity team his senior year. So please join me in welcoming our new baseball coach, Mr. Brian Selleck. I believe there's a meet and greet scheduled for
Thursday night at 6:30 in the Commons here at Stow High School. Just want to thank you for this opportunity. I'm really looking forward to it, and just want to thank you again. Wonderful opportunity to welcome me into the Stow community.
Welcome
Thank
again,
you,
Brian.
Brian.
Okay, next resolution regarding the International Baccalaureate Program. I would like to make just a couple comments, just put some clarification on the table, because I know there were some comments, and I do appreciate those. One of the things that I want to mention is that I keep hearing how we're going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to sustain the program, and I'm not sure where those numbers are coming from, but I just want to get the numbers on the table that I'm working with. An Indian Trail, for example, I think I mentioned the last meeting, we have 4 teachers to go through training, and that those dollars are already budgeted. After that, to sustain the program at Indian Trail, we will have a $7,600 a year affiliation fee with the International Baccalaureate Program. That's been budgeted through Summit County dollars. We actually budgeted $15,000 there. I will say in the first year there is a site visit, so that number will be $9,500. Again, through Summit County dollars, $7,500 thereafter. In talking to the board, we've also indicated that the professional development cost each year will be capped at $7,500. And those dollars will come through Title IIA funds. Those are federal dollars, and they are earmarked specifically for teacher professional development and principal professional development. We do have an International Baccalaureate Coordinator, which is a half-time position. It is our expense in the general fund. So I just want to make sure that, again, put those dollars on the table. Those are the numbers I'm working with. As far as I understand, the International Baccalaureate is not governed by the country of Switzerland. It's an independent organization. It's a configuration of a number of educational organizations around the world. Also, it is not a political agenda either. Far from it. It certainly is not. It does encourage kids to speak or to learn to think critically, absolutely. But it is not a political agenda by any means. It will not require all-day kindergarten, as one person asked. It also can be separate from the preschool. If our preschool, which is now run by the Summit County Educational Service Center, chooses to become a part of that, they are welcome to, but there's no requirement. The International Baccalaureate program will not require us to make this a K-12 program. That would be nice in the ideal world, but they will not require that. That is not the intention. That has never been the intention, and it's not going to be the intention. As far as at this time, I saw that, and to me, that means at this time, I mean now, the resolution is saying that we, after all of the time and effort our teachers have put into this, an Indian Trail, and the commitment that they have made, we want to continue with that process. But at this time, to me, means now we are agreeing to not pursue this in any other building in the district. There are no plans to do that at all. So I just wanted to share a few of those things. And I also wanted to make mention that the International Baccalaureate for me brings a lot of things. One of them is the collaboration for our teachers. It does require that the curriculum is coherent in the terms of there's a lot of collaboration required to make sure that nothing falls out of the cracks, we're not missing anything, and it also works to eliminate duplicity, so kids aren't getting the same thing in different years. So that's also helpful. I also want to point out that in 2014, 2015, the state of Ohio, our kids, are going to be measured with new state assessments. And these new state assessments are based on what's known as the Common Core. The Common Core was adopted by the state of Ohio in 2010, and the State Department of Education is working on developing those new assessments again in 2014, 2015. The Common Core has been adopted by 48 states, including Ohio. It's the closest thing to a national curriculum that we've ever had. And I did want to point out that the 48 states that have adopted the Common Core itself is internationally benchmarked. More and more our state departments of education and our state superintendents are taking a look at how our kids are performing versus others around the world. And when we are kind of in the middle, that's not good enough. And if we can find things that other folks are doing that'll help our kids be more successful, that's all that this is really about. So we're not looking to change anything and throw anything out. We're proud of our AP program. We're proud of the AP honor roll status. That's staying. You can bet that. We're looking to add AP psychology next year. We're going to keep fostering those great programs we have. But if we can find things, and if IB at Indian Trail is a catalyst for us to find a few things that help our kids be successful by that collaboration and the professional development that our teachers are experiencing, I think it's worth it. And if teachers at Indian Trail can share those experiences and things with other teachers to help kids around the district, I believe that's going to be helpful. I also want to mention that Kent State University we are working on a partnership with them because they too recognize that what's happening in education is really taking a look at what's happening around the world. And technology is making this a smaller world, and it's up to us to pay attention to what's happening out there. So we're honored to have with us today Dr. Dan Mahoney, who when I was in school, it was the College of Education. He is the dean of what I used to know as the College of Education. It's now called he is now the dean of the College of Education, I hope I get it right, Health and Human Services at Kent State University. also a resident of Stow, and he's here to say a few words.
Well, I want to thank you, first of all, for the opportunity to speak to the board tonight. Just a little bit about what we're doing relative to IB and how we see some possible collaborations with Indian Trails. And we've actually, as a college, had an association with IB that predates me. I've been there for 3.5 years, but even before that, we really had a close relationship with IB. They actually sit on one of our advisory boards, one of their representatives. About 2 years ago, some of my early childhood faculty came to me and said, we have a really great idea. We think our program should be the first in the world that our teachers will come out with the IB program embedded in their undergraduate program. So they'll have the level 1 IB training teacher award simply by graduating as an undergraduate. They felt like through some curriculum revision that they could do that, and obviously some training for our faculty so that they would be prepared to deliver that program. So we've committed to that for the last couple of years. We're in the process of putting together the application for that recognition from IB. And again, if we get that, as far as we know, we'd be the first in the world to actually have that recognition. We actually are kind of looking further down the line and hoping that we can actually do our middle years program as well, which will be our grades 4 through 9. So we're moving in that general direction. So for us, it's been a really close relationship, and I think it's been very beneficial. And again, I think it's important to point out that some of the curricular revisions, many of the principles of IB were already part of our program. So the focus on critical thinking, problem solving, problem-based learning, global awareness, all of that was part of our program before. We just were more explicit about it, enhanced it, and really developed a better program for our students. The question why we did this is, I think, partly because certainly, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't the prestige of being first in the world to be associated with IB in the way that we're going to be. Certainly was good for us, but really it was the direction we saw education going. The focus on this critical thinking, problem solving, problem-based learning, that is what everyone is doing. That's what everyone is talking about doing. This has had strong support. IB has been supported by the George Bush administration, was supported by the Barack Obama administration. Both have pushed for more IB schools. There's about 1,400 schools in the United States right now that are IB, about 3,000 worldwide. So it actually is more, a high percentage of them are actually in the United States. So it is one that's really well recognized, and it is kind of that direction we're going. Certainly I've had discussions with the state superintendent about the testing and the changes that Dr. Jones just talked about. Clearly this will make students much better prepared for those tests. Yeah, this is the way things are going. But ultimately we did it, I think, because it was best for our students. I think much the same reason that we'd be doing it in Indian Trails here at Stow. We did it because it was good for our students. It made them better teachers. It made them more employable. Now, as far as Indian Trails, we've had our faculty out visiting Indian Trails, our students out visiting Indian Trails. They are extraordinarily excited. They see a great partnership, the close proximity of the two schools, the fact that it's an elementary school and we're, again, at this point, focused on the primary year program, provides an opportunity for collaboration. We think a very unique collaboration, again, because of the fact that we have IB embedded in our undergraduate program and we're first in the world to do this. We certainly see some potential for grant opportunities and are already starting to work on that to help fund some of this. Again, being unique, being different, being the first to do that provides us some probably funding opportunities we wouldn't have otherwise. So we're very excited about the partnership and certainly are supportive of moving forward with a stronger relationship with Indian Trail as we go forward. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Dr. Mahoney. Appreciate it. So, with that, I wish to recommend the Board of Education direct the superintendent to take the steps necessary to obtain International Baccalaureate World School status for Indian Trail Elementary School and not pursue such status at any other school in the district at this time. So moved.
We have to put a motion on the floor first, so I will need a second.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Yes. Okay, I agree. Everyone knows I've made public my opinion on IB at this point in time. It's been shrouded in controversy. I've heard a lot of people who have firsthand experience with it, parents, taxpayers, and that there's some other issues that that brought about this controversy, and that was, we were first told that Indian Trail was going to be the IB school. Then we found out that Echo Hills was going to be an IB school. And then, according to the recent audit letter that just came out on IB, we had been planning to bring it training district wide on there. I mean, the teachers, to me, the teachers and staff at Indian Trail and in our school system have have done an excellent job in the past. I know kids who graduated from Indian Trail, one graduated of MIT, doing very well. Another one was an Eagle Scout. I went up and saw him, and he graduated from West Point. With excellent kids. I don't think IB is a good fit for this particular community. The state of Ohio, with over 700 school districts, there's only 2 districts at this point in time that have the PYP program. 2,000 districts nationwide, that you mentioned, okay, in the country is not a whole lot of districts. I am not for experimenting with our kids. Now, one of the issues that I had was, I said, over the weekend, when I didn't get my package until Friday night, so I had to work diligently over the weekend to try and find some information here. And I went on the IB website, and there, right next to it, is the legal document. So I said, well, wow, the legal document. So I went in and I said, it appears to me, okay, and this is another thing that's been shrouding in this, I don't know, information or whatever about the IB program. We've been calling it a framework under Article 7.1. It says the content of the curriculum and its assessment for all of the IB organization's academic programs, and that's PYP, as well as all materials produced by IB organization in any form related. Okay, this is sole property of IB. So if you're going to take IB and move it to that programs or something without getting them certified to another school, would be an infringement of their copyright. Now, on the back page, number Article 12. Now this is our contract with IB. On the back page, it says Swiss law governs these rules for IB schools' primary years program and all other documents relating to authorization to teach IB, or to teach the PYP program. So I think that's a concern. These are all concerns of mine with this at this point in time. Another concern I had was with our application for the primary year program. This is application part A for the elementary school. In section, we've been told that we did not need board approval. Now, I don't know if this is a problem or not, but under section 4C that they ask, it says, has the governing body made a formal decision to adopt the PYP program? We answered yes to that. Now, I don't remember the board or the governing body making a formal decision to adopt the PYP program on this. So giving all that, I move to substitute for the pending motion the following motion. The Board of Education directs the superintendent to suspend all actions to pursue the International Baccalaureate World School status for Indian Trail Elementary School and not to pursue such status at any other school at this time. Madam President?
Thank you. Is there a second? There is more discussion.
Yeah. When I ran, I told you that I would be honest, and I will give you the reasons why my position on this whole program. First of all, I do support what Ms. Docker says. I think at this time it should be taken off. It leaves too much, I think it should say any other school in the district. And I think before we ever roll it out, it has to be board approval going to the school. That set aside, I'm very neutral on this right now because I haven't done any due diligence on IB. I hear a lot from both sides. I hear a lot of noise, but no one's talked to the teachers at Indian Trail. I made an attempt to talk to them on Friday. I had to cancel. I had a meeting work 8:30, not 4:30 as some people thought. But we did meet Sunday for 2.5 hours at the STA board office, along with the STA president and Judy Millett, the IB coordinator, and 14 teachers from Indian Trail. I need to understand from them, because they're the ones teaching it, do they want it? Do they have passion? Do they want to kill it? Because I could go either way. After 2.5 hours, and they asked only to meet with me. Because they felt that because I was honest, I guess, I don't know, but I just wanted to listen to them and I held it in confidence. So after 2.5 hours, they came back and said that they wanted to see it out. They're so close. In April, they're going to file the petition, I believe, Dr. Jones, Part B. They want to go the whole way, run it for a year, and evaluate it and make a decision whether they modify it or kill it. That's what they told me. I can only go with our teachers. I support the teachers. I think we got great teachers. If the teachers felt if there was more than 1, 2, or 3 that said, I don't like it, I don't want it, then I wouldn't have a problem supporting this. But since they said they wanted to see it through, I will. I'm in my position right now, but I'm not done. I want to go sit in their classrooms. I want to go to Indian Trail, sit in classrooms. Then I want to go to Fish Creek, where I went to school, and Echo Hills, where I went to school. I want to see if I can see differences in how it's taught. I haven't made up my mind. I'm still neutral, but I can't kill. I don't want to kill it until I can see it through and then make some decisions, form a decision. But I do want to clarify that I do not support financially to run this out any further in any other school system. And I think we should take at this time out and make it very distinct that we're done at this time. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. So how should we proceed? Correct. Okay, but in the meantime, Mr. Bernacci, do you want to make an amendment to the motion?
Yes. And I'm real good on this. No, I don't have a problem with this. I want at this time out. That's where I'm at. You could, how we're going to get to it, but that's where I'm at.
Okay,
Very simple mind.
You want the table motion, table
You would like to, table the original motion, and you would like to amend it by saying, by removing at this time at the end of the sentence.
This is for the board. Okay. Technically, you motion to amend the motion to read in its entirety, striking the words at this time, and you vote on that. Then you will vote on that motion without those words. Okay, so we have a motion from Bernacci to amend the motion to strike the words at this time. You need a second and then roll call.
Which words is he striking on this motion?
Is there a second for that?
No, she said we need a second. She said we
Need a second.
I need a second.
Is there a second to Mr. Bernacci's motion? I will second it. It's moved by Mr. Bernacci, seconded by Mrs. Powers, to amend the motion to remove at this time at the end of it. Roll call?
Start. What are we removing out of the motion?
The last 3 words of the motion, so that.
At this time.
At this time.
And that it says, and not pursue such status at any other school in the district. Period. Period.
Okay, so once again, it was moved by Mr. Bernacci and seconded by Mrs. Powers to amend the motion to strike the words at this time at the end. Roll call.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Spangler.
No.
Mrs. Wright. Mr. Armstrong.
Yes.
Mr. Bernacci.
Aye.
Okay, now we need a motion for the actual motion. We just motioned to amend it. Now you're going to motion in its entirety without those words. So we need a motion and a second.
Would you like for me to read it again?
Yes.
Okay. I wish to recommend that the Board of Education direct the superintendent to take the steps necessary to obtain international baccalaureate world school status for Indian Trail Elementary School and not pursue such status at any other school in the district. Need a motion? Are you going to, Mr. Bernacci? We need to approve it again. Would you like to move to approve it with new language?
Yes.
I second it. Roll call.
Mr. Spangler?
No.
Mrs. Wright? Mr. Armstrong?
No.
Mr. Bonacci?
Yes.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye. Yeah.
I don't like the way it's worded. I need that part that says that this time. So I would like to put it on the third motion. My motion again.
Moved by Mrs. Wright, and seconded by Mr. Spangler. Roll call.
And this is for the motion as it is stated in item L.
For the motion that was originally set in the, on the floor.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mrs. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Armstrong?
No.
Mr. Bonacci?
No.
Mrs. Powers?
No.
Mr. Spangler?
Yes.
Dr. Jones, would you like to continue the agenda? Failed.
Okay, item M is contract for services, Harbor Educational Services LLC, and this is, we contracted with them before. There are some special education students that part of their IEP requires this, and these services that we are able to provide for them. So I do wish to recommend the board approve the contract for services with Harbor Education System.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved by Mrs. Powers and seconded by Mr. Bernacci. Roll call.
Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Mr. Bonacci?
Aye.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Spangler?
Aye.
Mrs. Wright?
Aye.
Item N is contract for services. This is for our school resource officer at Munroe Falls Schools. I'm sorry, at Munroe Falls Police Department. And this is for our SRO at Kimpton Middle School. So we should recommend the Board of Education approve the contract with the Munroe Falls Police Department to provide a school resource officer to the district to perform duties at Kimpton Middle School as presented in Exhibit Number 8.
So moved. Moved by Mrs. Powers and seconded by Mr. Spangler. Roll call.
Mr. Bonacci?
Aye.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Spangler?
Aye.
Mrs. Wright? Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Item O is for PRN therapy services. It's an addendum to the current contract we have. In that current contract, there's not a opportunity for speech therapy in that original contract. We do have a student that is requiring that, so we're just asking the board to approve that addendum so that that student can receive speech therapy.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Powers, seconded by Mr. Bonacci. Roll call.
Mrs. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Spangler?
Aye.
Mrs. Wright? Mr. Armstrong?
Aye.
Mr. Bonacci?
Aye.
Item P are student teacher stipends. I wish to recommend the Board of Education for the following teachers who have completed the student teacher mentoring program for fall 2011 in connection with Hiram College and Malone University. And again, as we mentioned, we've done this with Kent and Akron, and we talked before that we keep sending this to you. Again, this is payment directly through us to them.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Powers, seconded by Mr. Armstrong. Roll call.
Mr. Spangler.
Aye.
Mrs. Wright. Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mr. Bonacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Item Q is the Stow Munroe Falls High School Program of Studies for the 2012-13 school year. And I wish to recommend the Board of Education approve the Stow Munroe Falls High School Program of Studies for 2012-13 school year. And it is available in my office for anyone to take a look at that. It will be online shortly as well as our students begin the process of scheduling their classes for next year.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Wright, seconded by Mr. Spangler. Roll call.
Discussion.
Yes.
I just have, Madam President, one question, but first I'd like to make a quick comment that I went through the POS, and I was, the way it's wrote up, I think I'd like to audit some of those courses. They were very interesting. Almost college level courses. The only thing I would like, because I haven't had time to really look at it and analyze a lot of what, the process, and I know I've been through drop and add in the old days of college, and I know why you read this past and now and that. But will there be any net adds of personnel because of this particular POS?
No.
Okay, that's all I wanted. At this time, that's all I can ask. Thank you.
Okay. It was moved by Mrs. Wright and seconded by Mr. Spangler. Roll call.
Mrs. Wright. Aye. Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mr. Bonacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Spangler.
Aye.
Item R is disposal of equipment, and this refers back to Lakeview being cleaned out, and we wanted to get some of that authorization before to allow us to move some of that out of the old CI center. So I wish to recommend that the Board of Education approve the disposal of miscellaneous items in accordance with Board Policy 7310. Copy available in the treasurer's office.
So moved. Moved by Mrs. Powers and seconded by Mr. Spangler. Roll call.
Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mr. Bonacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Spangler.
Aye.
Mrs. Wright.
Item S, standing authorizations. I wish to recommend the Board of Education approve the correction of standing authorizations, items H in the Ohio Revised Code 133.301 to the Ohio Revised Code 133.24.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Spangler and seconded by Mr. Armstrong. Roll call.
Mr. Bonacci.
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Spangler. Mrs. Wright. Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Item T is gifts. I wish to recommend the Board of Education accept the following gifts. Darrow Street Range donating $750 for Lakeview Camp. Brenda Klein donated $300 to the Echo Hills Elementary for IB resources. So I'll have to ask her what she would like to do with that. We do appreciate the donation, as we do with all of ours. And Mr. and Mrs. Talise donated one Engelhardt cello, bow, and case to Lakeview Intermediate School.
Second. Moved by Mr. Spangler and seconded by Mrs. Powers. Roll call.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Spangler. Mrs. Wright. Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mr. Bonacci.
Aye.
This line has to be.
Is there any old business to discuss? Any new business, any new committee reports? Any reason for a possible executive session? Then I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Spangler and seconded by Mr. Armstrong. Roll call.
Mr. Spangler.
Aye.
Mrs. Wright. Mr. Armstrong.
Aye.
Mr. Bonacci.
Aye.